Hey you guys. All right, today I have a really quick 5-minute tutorial video on how to do a curtsy lunge. Okay, so I get a lot of questions about curtsy form, position. I see a lot of different things happening in people's bodies. So these videos are kind of meant to guide that movement pattern and just give you cues that you can use if you're a teacher to help people get better alignment with their body. And if you're a student, if you're in practice, just to better your practice, right? We should always be looking to kind of take it one step forward, to get a little deeper, to connect to our bodies a little bit better, right? That's happened in my body over the years, and it continues to happen on a daily basis. And when I feel things, I want to share those things with you too, so you can feel them as well. All right, so we're going to talk about a curtsy today. So go ahead and just stand with your feet hips width apart, okay? So just underneath your hips, toes are pointed forward in a parallel position. Relax your shoulders, they should be down and back, chest open nice and wide. And we're gonna bring our hands to a prayer position, okay? Now, one of the things in the curtsy, and there's two different things I'm gonna ask you to feel for. We're gonna start doing the curtsy with the chest up, okay? So bring your palms to prayer position right at chest center. Press them together. I want you to feel the activation of the bicep and the chest, okay? Okay, so we feel that upper body is active. Now we're gonna take our right leg, okay? So in the camera, I think it's probably gonna look like your left, but take your right leg, okay? So directional cues are important. Take your right left, and you're gonna step crossing your midline behind you. So I'm taking my right foot over to the left side, right? So I've crossed the middle of my body, right? Here's the middle. I cross it as I step back. Now hold that position. Okay, no, it's not a fun position to hold, but I want you to hold it. Okay, so I want you first to make sure that your chest is tall. Okay, so sternum over pubic bone. Okay, now and the yoga block is here too, because we're gonna visit that to help keep the chest lifted. Collarbones open nice and wide. And now I want you to think about your pelvis. Right, we want a level and squared off pelvis. So my right hip is the same height as my left hip, even though my leg is crossed behind my midline. Okay, so you might get a little dip, but I want you to try to level that out. Your right hip is gonna press forward, so that's the leg that's in back. I want you to press that hip forward as you press your left sitting bone back. Okay, so left hip back, right hip forward. That's gonna get a squared off pelvis. Okay, now my right knee, again, leg and back, my right knee is tracking. I could draw a line from my kneecap to my heel. Okay, so it's tracking in alignment with my heel. So I've got a nice straight line all the way from my left toes to my back knee. Okay, and that's where you want to then kind of sink a little deep. Okay, kind of get into that position. Now, my front knee, I know this is a long time to hold, so if you need to come up and reset, you can do that, right? Your front knee, make sure that back knee is in alignment with your heel. Your front knee is over your footbed, okay? So that's the center of your foot. It's not behind your ankle, okay? So you're not back here. That's gonna put too much load on the back leg. And it's not in front of your toes where you're gonna stress the ankle and the knee, okay? So you wanna be over the center of your foot. Now, in general, when we lunge, I'm gonna ask you for that kneecap to align right between your big toe and your second toe. Okay, you'll hear me say that if you take my videos or do my classes. You'll hear me say that over and over again. And again, that's to protect the knee, all right? So we wanna keep those bone rhythms moving the way they're meant to move so that we don't overstress anything or then fall into injury. Okay, so you're gonna sink into that, woo, I'm gonna lose my balance. Let's set it up again, right? You're gonna step across the midline with that right foot, sink into that curtsy lunge and look for all those things. Shift those hips, right hip forward, left hip back, my left knee behind my toes, but in front of my ankle, right? We've got that chest lifted and tall, okay? And that right there is your curtsy lunge. You can think about squeezing your inner thighs together a little bit so that you find the midline that way. And you wanna make sure that that left foot is flat. All 5 toes are down, and you can find equal pressure from your toes to your heel. Okay, now come on up out of that. We're gonna take the other leg next so that we can get into that other side as well. All right, now, a few more things to talk about so that we hit the other leg and we don't just stress out our left leg. I'm gonna have you grab your yoga block for this one. Now, the yoga block is gonna come right to your solar plexus. So below your chest, but above your belly button. Okay, so press that yoga block right there. You're just gonna bring your palms on either side. So I've got my yoga block the long way, okay? Now, I'll do this one from the side so you can kind of get that view as well. Standing with your feet hips width apart, you're gonna take your left leg this time, and that leg is gonna step back. Now remember, the midline is the center line right down your body. You're gonna cross the midline. So that left leg is gonna step back, cross the midline. Now, you wanna step back far enough that that knee is behind your toes, that front knee, okay? So make sure you're getting that width when you step. Now, square off your pelvis. Look for that left knee aligning with your right heel. That's general, right? It doesn't need to be perfect. That's a general alignment cue, okay? And then so the right sits bone back, left hip forward, okay? Chest is tall, and with the yoga block or the ring, you could always use the Pilates ring, that's gonna help remind them to keep their chest up if you're cueing and instructing a class. Okay, so you wanna keep that chest nice and lifted, collarbone wide. Okay, and this way the core can really stay connected. Now, there's other ways to do this so that you can target specific areas. But in general, if I was teaching a Pilates class and I was teaching a curtsy, this is what I would cue for. A tall chest, sternum over pubic bone, collarbone wide, right sits bone back, left hip forward, right knee position, and that right foot nice and heavy on the floor so that the 5 toes are down and you find equal pressure under the big toe, under the pinky toe, and at the center of the heel. Okay, and then you can play from heel, right? You can pulse, you can layer, you can butterfly, you can do all kinds of fun stuff. Now, we're gonna continue with this right leg being the front leg because I wanna show you one more thing. So go ahead and set your yoga block down. You don't need to have that. I wanted you to just feel the chest lifting and how you can help people if you notice they're always tilting forward, okay? That's a good thing to give them something at the front body to remind them to stay tall. Okay, now, we're gonna do it again. This time we're gonna hold a little bit longer, so I just want you to be prepared for that before we do it. Bring your hands to prayer. You're gonna press those palms together, take your left leg, and let's do it again. That left leg's gonna cross the midline and you're gonna find your curtsy. Okay, now our chest is tall and lifted, right? We figured that out. Now I want you to go ahead and just tilt your chest forward. So go ahead and tilt forward from your seat crease, okay? And I want, what changed, right? What you should feel more is your right glute. So it's not wrong. But what I want you to think about is if you're teaching a class and it's all booty, right? Or you're focusing on glutes today, that might be something you want to cue for. Maybe you go into the curtsy, chest tall, and then you have them stay there while you have them tilt forward and feel the shift in their body. It's going to put all that emphasis on the glute. You're going to feel more pressure in your right heel, allowing the back line of the leg to really light up. Okay, so it's just cool bone rhythm stuff. And then come on up out of it. All right, so in general, those are things you want to think about when you cue for a curtsy. I know it's a lot of stuff to think about. If you're practicing, I hope that got you into some better alignment or gave you some things to think about the next time you're in a class and that comes up. If you have any questions for me, you know you can always comment below this video. I will get back to you. It takes me some time to get through the comments usually, but I get back to each and every one of you, I promise. You can find me on social media as well. I'm JessPFit on both Instagram and Facebook, so you can message me that way. Or you can go to my website, JessPFit.com, and there is a contact link there. You can get in touch with me that way as well. I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Take care.